I want you to picture two people. First, picture Sarah. She is 34 years old. She has a corner office with a window. Her title is Senior Director. Her income last year was $180,000. She drives a black German sedan, the kind that turns heads in a parking lot. She wears a watch that costs more than some people's monthly rent. Her apartment is in the trendy part of the city. Floor-to-ceiling windows, concrete floors, a coffee machine that costs $900. On the outside, Sarah has won. But here's what you cannot see. Sarah wakes up at 4:47 a.m. every day. Not because she is ambitious, because she cannot sleep. Her chest feels tight. She has $12,000 in credit card debt spread across 4 cards. Her car payment is $920 a month. Her rent is $3,800. She just booked a vacation to Mexico because her co-workers were going, and she did not want to be the one who stayed behind. Last week, she cried in her car before driving into the office. Not a dramatic cry, a quiet one, the kind that comes from exhaustion. Sarah is one missed paycheck away from collapse. Now picture Michael. Michael is 37. He is a high school history teacher. His income last year was $62,000. He drives a 10-year-old Honda Civic with a small crack in the windshield. He wears plain T-shirts and jeans. He lives in a modest 2-bedroom house on the edge of town. The furniture is not stylish. It is just comfortable. On the outside, Michael looks ordinary, unremarkable, maybe even a little boring. Here's the question you are supposed to ask. Does Sarah just need to earn more money? Does Michael just need to spend less? No, this is not about income. And it is not about spending less. It is about a hidden concept that almost nobody teaches. A set of invisible rules that separate people who look successful from people who actually are successful. This video is about those rules. In the next hour, you're going to learn 8 psychological principles of minimalist money. These are not budgeting tips. You will not see a spreadsheet. You will not be told to give up your morning coffee. Instead, you will be shown why your brain fights against financial stability. You will learn why more money often makes things worse. And you will walk away with a framework that will change how you see every single dollar you touch. Most people will ignore this. Most people will scroll away after 3 minutes. But if you stay, if you really listen, you will finally understand why financial freedom has never been about math. It has always been about psychology. Let us begin. Rule 1. The invisible tax of appearance. Here is a truth that will make you uncomfortable. You are paying a tax you do not see. Sarah pays it every time she walks into a restaurant where the appetizers cost $28. She pays it when she upgrades her iPhone, even though her old one works fine. She pays it when she buys a candle that costs $65 because the packaging looks expensive on her counter. This is not a spending problem. This is an identity problem. Sarah does not buy things because she wants them. She buys things because she is terrified of looking like she cannot afford them. Her spending is not consumption. It is costume. She is dressing up as a wealthy person. And the costume costs her everything. Here is the psychology. Humans are social animals. For 100,000 years, your survival depended on your status within the tribe. If the tribe thought you were weak, you might be left behind. If they thought you were poor, you might lose access to resources. So your brain developed a powerful alarm system. It screams at you when you look different from the people around you. Sarah's brain is not broken. It is just ancient. It does not understand credit cards. It does not understand compound interest. It only understands one thing: fit in or die. So here's a harsh truth. Financial stability requires you to ignore a biological instinct that has kept humans alive for millennia. You have to be willing to look poor. You have to be willing to drive the old car. You have to be willing to wear the same jacket for 5 years. You have to be willing to say no to the dinner that costs $200. Most people cannot do this. Their fear of social judgment is stronger than their desire for financial freedom, and that is why they stay trapped. The rule is this: never buy anything whose primary purpose is to signal status to people who do not care about you. Ask yourself one question before every non-essential purchase. Would I buy this if nobody would ever see it? If the answer is no, you are not buying product. You are buying approval. And approval is the most expensive thing you will ever own. Rule 2. The hedonic treadmill will destroy you. Let me tell you about a man named Daniel. Daniel got a promotion. $40,000 raise. He was ecstatic. He had been waiting for this for years. He planned to save half and invest half. That was the promise he made to himself. 6 months later, Daniel had zero additional savings. What happened? He upgraded his apartment. He leased a nicer car. He started eating out more. He bought a new wardrobe. Nothing extravagant by itself. Each purchase was small. Each purchase was justified. I deserve this. I worked hard. One time won't hurt. But here is the problem. Daniel did not become happier. In fact, after 6 months, his baseline happiness was exactly where it had been before the raise. The new apartment just became normal. The nicer car just became the car. The eating out just became Tuesday. This is the hedonic treadmill. It is a psychological phenomenon where humans rapidly adapt to improvements in their circumstances. You get a raise. You feel happy for a few weeks, and then your expectations rise to match your new income. You are now running faster just to stay in the same emotional place. The treadmill is brutal because it is invisible. You do not feel yourself adapting. You just feel a vague sense that you still need more. More money, more things, more upgrades. And you will keep chasing, and the treadmill will keep speeding up until one day you look around and realize you have doubled your income and feel exactly the same. Here is the harsh truth. You cannot out-earn the hedonic treadmill. It is mathematically impossible, because no matter how much you make, your brain will always raise the bar. The only way off the treadmill is to stop playing the game entirely. The rule is this: artificially cap your lifestyle at a level that feels almost embarrassingly low. Decide right now what is enough, not what is comfortable, not what is reasonable. What is enough? Then build a wall around that number. When you get a raise, the extra money does not touch your lifestyle. It goes directly to savings, investments, or paying down debt. You treat lifestyle inflation like a disease, because that is exactly what it is. Michael, the history teacher, figured this out. He lives on $40,000 a year. He makes $62,000. The extra $22,000 disappears into his brokerage account before he ever sees it. He is not sacrificing. He is not being frugal. He simply decided that his life at $40,000 is already good. Everything else is just fuel for his future freedom. Rule 3. The pain of paying is your best friend. Think about the last time you paid with cash. Not a card. Not your phone. Physical paper money that you pulled out of your wallet. Do you remember how it felt? There was a small sting. A tiny moment of hesitation. You watched the money leave your hand. You felt the loss. Now think about the last time you tapped your phone to pay. There was no feeling at all. Just a beep. Maybe a haptic buzz. The transaction was frictionless, effortless, painless. This is not an accident. Payment companies spend billions of dollars to remove the pain from spending. They know that when you do not feel the transaction, you spend more. Credit cards are not convenience tools. They are anesthetic. They numb the psychological cost of spending money. Here's the psychology. Behavioral economists call this the pain of paying. It is an actual emotional response rooted in the insula, a part of your brain that processes both physical and emotional pain. When you pay for something, your insula activates. You feel a tiny amount of distress. This distress is a signal. It is your brain saying, "Are you sure about this?" But when you use a credit card, that signal gets muted. When you use a payment app, it gets muted even more. And when you use buy now, pay later, it practically disappears. You are spending money without feeling the consequences of spending money. And then the bill comes 30 days later, and you feel everything at once. The pain does not disappear. It just gets delayed. And delayed pain always comes with interest. But when you use a credit card, that signal gets muted. When you use a payment app, it gets muted even more. And when you use buy now, pay later, it practically disappears. You are spending money without feeling the consequences of spending money. And then the bill comes 30 days later, and you feel everything at once. The pain does not disappear. It just gets delayed. And delayed pain always comes with interest. The rule is this: Increase the friction of spending until you feel every transaction. Use cash for discretionary categories like dining out, entertainment, and clothes. Physically hand over bills. Watch the stack shrink. If you must use a card, keep a handwritten ledger. Write down every purchase in real time. Force yourself to confront the number before the dopamine of the purchase sets in. This sounds small. It is not. Small frictions create massive behavioral changes. When you feel the pain of paying, you buy less. And when you buy less, you save more. And when you save more, you become free. Rule 4. Your future self is a stranger. Close your eyes for a second. Picture yourself 10 years from now. What does she look like? What does he care about? What does he worry about? You probably cannot answer. And that is the problem. Psychologists have discovered a strange quirk in human cognition. You think about your future self the same way you think about a stranger. Your brain literally processes future you as a different person. This is called temporal discounting. You value immediate rewards more than future rewards because future you does not feel real. This is why you choose Netflix over exercise. This is why you buy the shoes instead of investing the money. Your brain is not lazy. It is just confused. It thinks present you and future you are two different people. So present you takes what it wants, and future you gets to deal with the consequences. Here is a harsh truth. Future you is not a stranger. Future you is just present you with more wrinkles and less energy. And right now you are stealing from her. Every time you choose a want over a need, every time you finance something you cannot afford, every time you spend instead of save, you are taking money out of her pocket. She will have to work longer. She will have to worry more. She will have to say no to things she wants because you said yes to things you did not need. The rule is this. Before every purchase over $20, ask one question. Would I rather have this thing, or would I rather give the money to future me? That is it. That is the whole rule. Not a complicated formula. Not a 50-page budgeting guide. Just one question. Would I rather have this thing, or would I rather give the money to future me? When you ask that question honestly, most purchases disappear. The third coffee disappears. The impulse Amazon buy disappears. The takeout you were too tired to cook disappears. And the money stays. It grows. It compounds. And 10 years from now, your future self looks back and thanks you for finally treating her like a real person. Rule 5. The hidden costs you never see. Let me tell you about a woman named Jessica. Jessica bought a house. It was a stretch, but she could technically afford the mortgage. The problem was the house needed work. New roof, new windows. The basement flooded twice in the first year. Jessica spent $40,000 on repairs in 18 months. She did not have $40,000. She put on credit cards. Then she took out a home equity loan to consolidate the cards. Then she fell behind on the home equity loan. 3 years later, she sold the house at a loss and moved into an apartment. Here is what nobody told Jessica. The price tag is not the cost. The price tag is just the beginning. Every possession has hidden costs. Your car has insurance, maintenance, registration, and depreciation. Your house has property taxes, utilities, repairs, and HOA fees. Your fancy phone has a data plan, cloud storage, and screen protectors. Even your clothes have dry cleaning, tailoring, and the time you spend organizing them. These costs are invisible because they do not hit you all at once. They trickle, a little here, a little there, and before you know it, your possession is costing you more in upkeep than it cost to buy in the first place. Here's the psychology. Humans are terrible at accounting for recurring costs. It is called the denominator neglect. You see the one-time price, and your brain anchors to that number. The monthly subscription for $14 seems trivial, but $14 a month is $168 a year. Over 10 years, that is almost $2,000 for a subscription you forgot you had. The rule is this. Multiply every recurring expense by 10 years. Take your monthly subscriptions, insurance premiums, and maintenance costs. Multiply them by 120 months. Look at the number. That is what that possession is really costing you. Then decide if it is worth it. Most people never do this math. They live in a fog of small, invisible leaks, and they wonder why they cannot get ahead. You do not need to plug every leak, but you need to see them. because you cannot fix what you refuse to measure. Rule 6. Your environment is a trap. Look around the room you are in right now. You probably see a lot of stuff. A lamp, a bookshelf, a rug, a plant, maybe some decorative objects. Now ask yourself a question. When was the last time you actually looked at any of those things? You did not buy most of this stuff because you needed it. You bought it because you walked into a store or opened an app and the environment told you to want it. The lighting, the music, the sale banner, counting down from 15 minutes. The free shipping threshold that was just $10 higher than what you had in your cart. You were not making a decision. You were having a reaction. Here is the psychology. Your environment shapes your behavior more than your willpower ever will. Willpower is a limited resource. It gets used up. By the end of the day, you have none left. But your environment is always there. It is always working, either for you or against you. If your home has clutter, you will buy organizers. If your phone has shopping apps, you will open them. If your email has sale notifications, you will click them. You are not weak. You are just surrounded by triggers. And every trigger is a tiny tax on your attention and your money. The rule is this. Design an environment with a default choice is a financially smart choice. Delete every shopping app from your phone. Unsubscribe from every marketing email. Install an ad blocker on your browser. Cancel Amazon Prime. Remove your credit card information from every website, so you have to type it in manually every time. Make spending harder. Make saving easier. And here is the counterintuitive part. Do the same thing with your money. Automate your savings so the money leaves your account before you ever see it. Set up automatic investments on the same day you get paid. Create a separate bank account for bills that you never look at. Remove the friction from good behavior. Add friction to bad behavior. This is not discipline. This is design. And design always wins. Rule 7. The comparison trap is a suicide note. Let me tell you about social media. You open Instagram. You see a friend on a beach in Mexico. Another friend just bought a new car. A third friend is renovating their kitchen. You close the app and feel a small, sour ache in your chest. You tell yourself you are happy for them, but you are not. You feel behind. You feel like you are losing. Here is what you do not see. You do not see the credit card bill for the Mexico trip. You do not see the 7-year car loan at 12% interest. You do not see the home equity loan for the kitchen renovation. You only see the highlight reel, and you compare your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlights. This is not a moral failing. This is a cognitive bias called social comparison theory. Your brain is constantly scanning for where you rank relative to others. In prehistoric times, this kept you alive. You needed to know if you were falling behind the tribe. But today, your tribe is global. You are comparing yourself to millions of people who are older, richer, more leveraged, and less honest about their finances. Here's a harsh truth. Most people you see spending money are not wealthy. They are just willing to go into debt for the appearance of wealth. The car in the driveway is not a sign of success. It is a sign of a monthly payment. The vacation on the beach is not a sign of freedom. It is a sign of a balance transfer. You are comparing your reality to their illusion, and you are losing a game you should never have entered. The rule is this. Stop comparing your finances to anyone whose bank account you have not personally seen. That is the only comparison that matters. Everyone else is performing, and you are the audience. The only way to win is to stop watching the show, delete the apps, unfollow the influencers, mute the friends who make you feel small. Your piece is worth more than their content. Rule 8. The most expensive word is deserve. I have heard this word destroy more people than any other financial mistake. I deserve it. I worked hard this week. I deserve a nice dinner. I got a promotion. I deserve a new car. I have been stressed. I deserve a vacation. It has been a tough year. I deserve something for myself. Here's a problem. The word deserve has no brakes. You can always justify one more thing. There is always a reason. And over time, deserve becomes a permission slip for every purchase you never needed to make. Here is the psychology. This is called self-licensing. You do something virtuous, like working hard or saving money, and then you give yourself permission to do something less virtuous as a reward. The virtuous act licenses the indulgent act. You feel entitled to the reward, and entitlement is the enemy of discipline. But here is the deeper truth. You do not deserve things because you worked hard. You deserve things because you earned them, and you have not earned a new car until you have paid cash for a new car. You have not earned a vacation until you have funded your retirement account for the year. You have not earned a nice dinner until your credit card balance is zero. Deserve is not a feeling. Deserve is a math problem. The rule is this: ban the word deserve from your financial vocabulary. Replace it with the word afford. Do not ask, do I deserve this? Ask, can I afford this? Not with next month's paycheck. Not with a credit card. Not with a buy now, pay later plan. With cash. Today. Without touching your emergency fund. If the answer is no, then you do not deserve it. You just want it. And wanting is not the same as deserving. This sounds harsh. It is harsh. But here is the gift. When you stop using deserve to justify spending, you start using it to justify saving. You deserve to sleep through the night. You deserve to not panic when your car breaks down. You deserve to retire one day. And those things require saying no to the dinner, the car, the vacation, the thing, not forever, just until you can actually afford it. Rule 9. Silence is the ultimate wealth. We have covered 8 rules. Let me tell you about the 9th, the one nobody talks about. Michael, the history teacher, does not talk about money. His friends do not know how much he has saved. His family does not know his net worth. He does not post about his investments on social media. He does not give financial advice unless someone asks directly. He is silent. Sarah, on the other hand, talks about money constantly. She complains about her rent. She jokes about her credit card debt. She posts pictures of her nice watch. She vents about how expensive everything is. Her financial life is a public. Here is what you need to understand. Money is like a flame. If you keep it quiet and contained, it provides warmth. If you show it off, it burns you. The moment you start talking about what you have, or what you want, or what you deserve, you invite comparison, judgment, and pressure. People will expect you to pay. People will expect you to keep up. People will expect you to be the same person you were when you had less. The rule is this: let your financial life be boring. Do not talk about your savings. Do not post your investments. Do not mention your side hustle. Do not complain about your debt. Do not explain your budget. Just live your life. Let people assume whatever they want. Your peace is more important than their perception. Silence protects you. It protects you from lifestyle inflation because nobody knows you have room to spend. It protects you from social pressure because nobody knows what you can afford. And it protects you from yourself because when you stop talking about money, you stop performing wealth. And when you stop performing, you start living.